Welcome back. We're wrapping up our fatherhood chat with acclaimed comedian and good friend of the show, Schoonraad, talking about his parenting journey during lockdown, or a few breakdowns in lockdown. He's also recently finished You're Living with the German. Welcome to the midday edition of Expresso. Has your better half forgiven you for living with the German
Not yet. No, we're working on that. I'm still in the
She's the German, yeah?
She is indeed. She is indeed.
What was that whole experience like? Talk about kind of therapy and being able to just work through these things. How did you enjoy being able to kind of perform that?
It was great. Firstly, it was the first time in a long time I had an audience, even though it was a virtual one. It was great to just be out there and doing it again. And I got to talk a little bit about being a parent and a partner.
I mean, I'd love to talk about the set and just you not having an audience to feed off. Do you make like one or two people stand? At least I've got cameramen that can laugh occasionally, you know?
I literally got 4 or 5 friends in the background to give me my pace, yeah.
Just go, ha ha. Everything changed. Everything changed so dramatically. We've spoken about the challenges professionally during lockdown and what you needed to do for yourself and other comedians. How did your family dynamic change?
Well, you know, obviously being in the same space and having your ability to move around curtailed was a challenge. But fortunately enough for me, I'm at home during the day, Dad. So there was always a bit of a thing with Jack, my son. We always played around a little bit. I had the pleasure of being at home during the day when he got home from school, for example. Most dads don't have that pleasure.
Don't have it,
but
yeah.
Pre-lockdown, that is. So we had a relationship and a little vibe and a couple of games we played in the guitar, a riff or two. And so we had a great place to start from, I think, you know.
The pressures, because I felt like there's been this added, pressure sounds negative, but this impetus maybe that I need to be there more for my family now because of what they're going through. Have you seen your family change through this period, and has it been tough on you to help counsel or guide them through that space?
For the relationship was a little more challenging in that my missus and myself, we don't get to spend that much time together pre-lockdown. So we had to set some new boundaries and so on. My son, for example, he's just a happy-go-lucky kid, you know. He's easy to entertain. It wasn't too hard for him. For the parents, a little harder.
Are they sick of you, do you think? I started to get sick of myself.
Well, I'll tell you what, even Jack would go, Papa, you already told me that joke. So I'm like, okay, I'm running out of material here. They better get this lockdown sorted out now, you know. But it was cool. It was all right.
There was an opportunity to audit. That's what I found myself having this additional time to think and really kind of sink into myself and what it is that I want to achieve as a father with my son, especially. I think growing up in a female household, my daughter doesn't feel as challenging. I'm sure that'll come. But with my boy, it's like I've got this ideal of what I want to be as a father and what I want to achieve. How do you feel about that? What do you want to achieve for your son, for Jack? And we share a son's name. Both our boys are Jack.
Bro, that is a very complicated question, and I most probably could answer it for an hour, but let me try and press it. The lockdown had given me a big opportunity to reflect inward about what kind of dad I want to be. I was very, very busy with the comedy club and most nights. I find a lot more free time, and it's rebooted my relationship with not only my partner, but my son as well, and other parts of my family as well, you know. A lot more time, I think, a lot more time to think and reflect and make decisions. I feel like I was running on the trot all the time.
You're conscious about what you're doing now.
Exactly, a little more. I mean, a friend of mine, just to give it some perspective, a friend of mine is a dad of 4 kids. And I remember asking him, hey, man, I'm just about to have a kid. How do you do this? How do you become a good dad? He says, bro, just be present.
Yeah.
Just try and be present. You know, we can't do it all the time, but I try and be present, you know.
You seem to have taken this in your stride, and maybe you take after your son there that you're this happy-go-lucky, you know, chilled kind of a guy, but I know that you work in quite a stressful environment. There's a lot of adrenaline involved. You've got to be succeeding all the time, otherwise you're failing, if you know what I mean, and that's in your space. And you've also got a lot of other people relying on you. How have you taken this in your stride? Have you, though? Lockdown, how have you kept yourself sane and effective as a dad and as a human being?
Well, no, losing your ability to generate funds is a big part of your responsibility in the space. So there's a lot of second guessing whether you're able to do so. Fortunately enough, I've got a very supportive partner, and we made some plans, and I've got some stuff on the trot, you know.
You found a way, man, and it is. It's like I suppose you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, I'm the guy who's making the money. She's the parent. Now I'm not making the money. I'm the failure here, and she's the only one doing the job.
Well, it's ironically enough, it's not like that in my relationship at all. My missus is a full-time career woman. You know, she runs a production company. There's a whole lot of stuff to do there. So we were always very equal in kind of supplying that to the family. During lockdown, she's in the film business. I'm in the comedy business. We spent a lot of time at home. A lot of time to think, make some good, solid, forward-thinking plans. And I think we're on a good wicket right now.
Come out on top. That's how you earned the red bandana.
Cheers,
That's how
bro.
you earned it, buddy. Always so good to connect with you, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. And I think to other fathers out there, hopefully you've taken some advice from this. No man is the same, but we're all going through pretty similar stuff. And let's make the best of this opportunity to be more supportive husbands and present fathers to our children. Up next, Kurt is going to join me in the kitchen. Last time he cooked for me, so I'm going to cook for him a fun dish that I make for my son, who's also named Jack, all the time. Stick around.